Today on Locked On Rockies, not one, not two, but 5 home runs from the Colorado Rockies in their 14-7 victory over the Chicago Cubs. We break it all down. Plus, we dive into what is going to be enough to make the team as the competition heats up in spring training.
You are Locked On Rockies, your daily Colorado Rockies podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Rock on Rockies fans, welcome into the Locked On Rockies podcast for today, the 26th day of February in the year 2026. I am your host of the Locked On Rockies podcast, Paul Holden, bringing you your daily Colorado Rockies talk right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where you can find your team every day. And thanks to your support, we're the #1 sports podcast network. So thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. If your favorite team is the Colorado Rockies, you're in the right spot because that's what we do around here, free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. In the Locked On Rockies YouTube comment section, help the show grow by liking the video, subscribing, and sharing them when possible. Today on the show, we're going to talk about the Rockies hitting the crap out of the ball against the Cubs in Cactus game number 6. Plus, I got an interesting comment, and Antonio Senzatella's performance made me intrigued by this question as well. What is going to be enough to break camp with the Colorado Rockies? We'll talk about that coming up here in just a little bit as well. Obviously, Senza is going to be on the team, but his role. So just where we're headed at that. We'll also read some more of your comments here as well. Before we go any further, want to again thank you for making us your first listen of the day. And I am Paul Holden, your Rockies fan extraordinaire. Been bringing you this daily Rockies podcast for over 6 seasons now. That's hundreds of episodes talking Rockies baseball with you, the Rockies fan, through it all together. That's what we do, right? All right, folks. So first things first, the Rockies, big win, 14-7, big spring training win, 2 games above 500. But the important thing was key people homered, key players homered, highlighted by TJ Rumfield with 2 big flies as he continues to try to make his case to be the Rockies starting first baseman. And on top of that, Mickey Moniak, first pitch he sees of spring, and he just launches one. I think I know that in the past, and when we talked about the defensive concerns about Mickey Moniak, there were people that were rightfully pushing back against me about undervaluing his potential defense. But I think Mickey Moniak has such a great possible stretch ahead as a DH. I think it's clear that he was comfortable hitting with the Rockies. It's clear that hitting is one of his big strengths. One of the things that he was missing in his career is consistent at bats. And I just think when you see that this is a guy that has that home run potential, and I don't know if there's any. Sometimes they vary here, but I don't think it's crazy to think that 20 home runs is easily in the realm of possibility again for Mickey Moniak at this point. 135 games he played last year. He hit 24 of them in that time. I think that this is going to be one of those. If we see another big leap from Moniak, I think it's going to be on the offensive side, especially if he's someone that can be a factor on stealing bases, especially if he can increase the stolen base part of his game. 9 stolen bases last year. It's when it's only that number. I wonder how much he is going to be benefiting or leaned on by the coaching staff as they implement this more aggressive approach on the base paths. But 2010 guy, that's not too shabby there. It's not going to be the most impressive line from any there, but if he's just getting consistent at bats, if he continues, if he takes a step forward here as he gets more comfortable batting at cores, is the ceiling is a ceiling of 30 home runs out that far out there? Probably not. I mean, think about it here. When looking at that, if he gets another, say he bats and being a DH allows him to be in, closer to 150 games, that number last year would be closer to 30, right? Hard to just say he for sure hits 6 home runs there, but when you're talking about adding, 6 home runs in a 15 game span, that's a mashing stretch there, certainly, but doable, possible, or at least adding 3 more in that to just make it a little bit closer. I just think that's going to be, I think with the way the Rockies lineup is looking right now, DH is just the perfect spot for him to slide into. It frees you to have flexibility and have multiple options with your outfield. It's gonna put Willie Castro on the field as well, which it seems like that was already part of the plan as he's had a pretty good start to the spring as well. But I think as it's shaking out, DH seems like just the perfect spot for him, and I hope that's not a slight at him, at anything like that. As someone who is a guy that my baseball career was all about baseball. I loved any opportunity to just hit. I mean, that's where I just come from on kind of that take. But I think as long as you're in the lineup every day, you're getting four at bats a day when things get going, I think you're pretty happy with that if you're Mickey Moniak, especially if that allows the Rockies to utilize some of the guys that could be better defenders and could be plus defenders out there, like we discussed yesterday on the pod. Just a quick look here. The projections for Mickey Moniak on Baseball Reference do have him at a 20 home run guy with 472 plate appearances, 63 RBI, another 9 stolen base season, and same as another strikeouts about 121 with a 256, 301, 460 line and a 761 OPS. So again, I don't think that Mickey Moniak is going to be the best DH in baseball, but I think that DH is going to be his best role for the team, at least where it stands right now, with where the Rockies are at, and some of the guys that they're still evaluating for offense there. But man, first pitch, you're swinging. You love to see that. 2 hits in that as well. Willie Castro, 2 hits, going 2 for 3. Hunter Goodman picking up a hit as well. Ezekiel Tovar launching a 3-run bomb. I just my hype level for Ezekiel Tovar continues to build as well. I think this is the guy when he was healthy, when we haven't gotten to see the fully healthy Ezekiel Tovar in a long time. Really at no point last year can you say he was 100% or the guy that we've seen in the past. And for him to have now all this experience, has been around here and gone through some ups and downs and faced the challenges, facing some challenges. I think we are going to be seeing an Ezekiel Tovar that is going to be a mature leader of this team who's going to be just a pleasure to watch. I think when he is in a groove, when he is on a hot streak, he is going to be an elite baseball player to watch. I think that he can just do a lot of things when you can, come up big on offense, hit for extra bases, and play Gold Glove caliber defense. That's the player we expect Ezekiel Tovar to be. That's the Ezekiel Tovar that, when you get that swing, when you get that home run, that's what you feel like he can be. That's why I just think he has just been someone I have been very excited to watch here as things get going. And TJ Rumfield, I mean, again, 2 home runs, setting the stage for, hey, I'm making a point here of I'm gonna swing my way onto this team as the Rockies here looking to really figure things out. It's not a bad look here when so far in the spring here you got a nice couple you now have added 2 hits to your total there, more than doubling it with some big flies. As at first base, I agree with a lot of the takes that I'm seeing online of Charlie Condon. I don't think is going to break camp with the team. I think this is the guy right here that to at least be focused. This is a guy that's got a great opportunity here and wants to take a shot at that. So Anyway, on the pitching side here, the tough part about this one was the Jaden Hill appearance, as some of the Rockies bullpen guys have looked a little shaky to start the year. They haven't gotten a whole lot of work. I mean, I think Jaden Hill's thrown all of an inning or two. He didn't get an out in the game here against the Cubs, but that was the tough spot there, as the Rockies had a great fifth inning, scoring 6, but then allowing 6 runs between Jaden Hill and Connor Stain, between the two of them, allowing 5 hits, 6 earned runs there, and a walk with no strikeouts. But on the flip side, strong start from Jose Quintana there with getting a strikeout over 1 inning pitched, and Senza, another follow-up to his first appearance there, with 3 strong innings there, with 3 strikeouts and a walk, no earned run, and a hit. And that sets the stage for this conversation I want to have in segment number 2 of what does earning it look like in camp? What do you have to do in order to earn it and earn a spot, for Senza to earn his spot back, for TJ Rumfield to win the first base job? What does spring training have to look like for them, and in order to earn that spot? Let's talk about that coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Before we do that, though, got to tell you about the folks that help make this show possible, and that includes Gametime. MLB opening day is almost here, and you can feel it. Fresh starts, big expectations, and that first crack of the bat. Whether it's a breakout rookie or a division race that goes down to the wire, there's nothing like being in the ballpark for it. The only problem, getting tickets can feel like a grind. Long queues, surprise fees, price jumps at checkout. You hate to see that. That's where then you go to Gametime. The Gametime app gives fans the advantage with constant innovation. It's how you unlock amazing tickets and experiences in just a few taps. It's simple to use. The Gametime guarantee means you get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time at the best price. And here's the best part. Fees are included in the price you see. What you see is what you pay, period. And my favorite thing, not only is that upfront pricing, but the panoramic seat view from the seats, so you know exactly what you're paying for, exactly what your seat's going to look like. No surprise fees, no surprise when you get to the ballpark. Take the guesswork out of buying MLB tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Gametime app today. Back at it here for segment number 2 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies, free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. Fire off your Rockies hot takes. Let me know what's on your mind, and you can take your passion for the show to the next level by joining the Everydayer Club. $5 a month, $50 a year gets you ad-free audio and access to the Everydayer Club Discord, where we're talking rocks, we're talking sports from around the globe with everydayers also from around the globe, breaking it all down here for you to get insights into all your favorite sports and more from the Locked On Podcast Network. Check it out, lockedonrockies.supercast.com for more information. You can also check out the link in the show notes. So yesterday we talked about Jake McCarthy being the starting left fielder for the Rockies, and we got a comment from Ultra Modern here who says, how about Veen emerges and we leave the bench guy on the bench? I thought, well, a little harsh there for McCarthy, as a guy that's has a little bit of buzz and a little bit of excitement around him as well. Also a little bit of MLB experience, especially when you're comparing him to Veen. But that did get me thinking. What does Zach Veen have to do this spring to earn the spot on the roster? What does TJ Rumfield have to do to earn the starting spot at first base? What does Senza have to do to earn his spot back in the rotation? And in reality, I don't think that there is an answer that I can come to that's actually what the Rockies coaching staff are looking for. Obviously, there's a lot of people doing a lot of evaluating and actually there know a lot more about the game than I do that are making the calls and breaking everything down. But I think for me, obviously, monster home runs, 3 strong innings worth of pitching, multi-home run performances, all things that are great and exciting. But I think it has to come together through a consistent I have preached this word, but it's got to be a consistent performance throughout the camp. It's got to be not only the in-game stuff. They got to be performing well in the individual training sessions. They have to be performing well in the meetings, in the breakdowns. And they need to be consistent about it. Not saying they got to be perfect, right? I'm just saying be the player, the version of yourself that you want to be, and show that you can do that over and over again. Now, that's what makes spring a little bit difficult here, because there are going to be certain situations where pitchers are working on certain pitches. Pitchers are working on certain things and working on tweaking on things and maybe specifically focusing on a certain area in this start or what they're handling there. Same thing with guys on the offense. They might be working on something. They might be tweaking their swing. They might be working on a different leg kick. They might be working on a different, grip or something like that. There's a million different little things that they'll be in the game, and we read the box score of spring and it's like, oh, he went over, but he could have been, well, my approach in that game was to be, I was taking every first pitch and I was working on a new windup or a new leg kick or a new approach. So I think that it's just going to have to be, I think that consistency, right? I think they have to show the coaching staff that day in, day out, they are putting in the work to get better. And that work is showing the results. I think that's it's going to be really interesting to see how the roster shakes out when the cuts are made. And then if we get any follow-up and explanation on some of that, of what they were looking for and the areas they were going for. Are you going to lose out because you're not as efficient on the base stealing that we want you to be at this point? Are you not quite where we want you to be defensively? Do we want you to work on a different position, and you're going to get more reps working on that different position with how many people are going to be moving around and doing things differently? They want to get you a little bit more time on certain areas of the field before bringing you up and asking you to be a utility player at the major league level. I mean, at the end of the day, the players have to just do what they do. You have to show up to the yard and perform and hope that those performances are enough, because I don't think there's one area that we can sit there and point and say, if they have a great spring hitting a bunch of home runs, that means they for sure should be a slam dunk for the roster. But if each week, if they're hitting a few homers a week, their batting average is above, it's like a 260 with a nice solid OPS there. They got some walks under the belt. The strikeouts aren't as bad. They're looking like they're and they're handling when they match up against the major league arms instead of, whoever it might be in spring training, with how many different types of pitchers you see and different levels of pitchers that you see. How do you look in those at bats? Because there are a lot of guys that are hungry for spots on this team. Mickey Moniak was talking after the game, just kind of really bringing another, reminding us again of different attitudes, different approach, and people really think are learned from last year and are growing from it. Now they have to respond. So I think for Senza, though, I mean, I would like to. My buddy Jambron was telling me, he better learn a more than 2 pitches, and I think that's probably along the lines of something I'd like to see. I'd like Senza to show us, oh hey, he's striking out more guys. oh, hey, he's added another pitch here that's getting that's disrupting the rhythm of the batters that are facing him, and getting in the way, and showing a little bit more depth there to make him that starter. He's got to show that he's got better command and control of his arsenal, and maybe is willing to add to that arsenal over a Feltner and a Dolander that also are trying to just, Feltner's trying to just come back from injury and get back to being a regular everyday starter. And Chase is looking to basically hit the reset button on everything. So I think for Senza, he's in a bit of a more of a spot where I think he better blow the coaching staff away with what he does in spring and what he and the stuff that he adds to the arsenal. Or, oh my goodness, if you're watching the YouTube, I'm fighting my microphone from falling down. But what does Senza's arsenal look like at the end of the year? Or no, I'm sorry, at the end of camp. That's, is there a new pitch? Is there a little bit of a tweak in velocity? Is there an uptick or a change in velocity or movement or break or spin? That's the type of stuff I think that Senza is going to have to show to set him apart, because again, I still think that with the Rockies moves of adding those veteran pitchers and where the bullpen is at, I still think it makes sense to have Senza and Herget in the bullpen. And even though both of them are wanting to be starters, I just don't necessarily think that fits into the equation here. And I think Senza, if he can be successful in that bullpen role, despite, like we said, the numbers last year being tough the first go round, I think he in the limited bit that we saw, I think the Senza bullpen experiment is still worth exploring there. But it doesn't seem like the Rockies are gonna, have really shut that door there at all. All right. Let me know what you think. Are there things that you think the Rockies are really looking for out of the offense, or a player like Zach Veen or TJ Rumfield? Do you think they need to do something in particular in order to earn their spots? What do you think? What does Senza have to do to earn his spot in the rotation back? Let me know in the Locked On Rockies YouTube comment section. We're going to talk about those comments and more coming up next on today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Back at it here for segment number 3 of today's episode of Locked On Rockies. We are free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on the Locked On Rockies YouTube channel, where you can be part of the show. You can fire off your Rockies hot takes. You can let me know what's on your mind when it comes to the Colorado Rockies. Hey, I know my guy Luxace was frustrated about not being able to watch the game, but there was a helpful account in this situation here that was posting all of the home runs from the game here against the Cubs. If you want to check it out, it is Rockies home runs at Rockies homers. There you can go and see all the big flies there. It's all, I mean, I did see a great I saw a great tweet where it was like, nothing makes you feel more overhyped about your team than a moonshot spring training home run. And that's what the Rockies have been treated to a few of those over the past couple of days. But I just think that hopefully now that things are moving, right? We've got over a week under the belt here of that. Things are really kind of starting to get rolling and get in the groove. It'd be nice to see. The wins don't matter. The big performances are going to be fun and always cool to see, certainly, but stacking it up. I think that continues to be my theme of it. It'd be great to see, these big offensive performances. These doesn't always have to be in the way of 14 runs, 16 hits though. Keep getting those double-digit hits. Keep kind of just chipping away. Keep building that edge a little bit. That the Rockies, that competitive edge here, even in these games that don't mean anything. Make sure that you're taking advantage of all your opportunities there. All right. Let's see here. Let's take a look at a couple of comments here before we wrap things up on the show. Cowbizzle says getting closer, 29 days. Yes, indeed. 29 days. I guess maybe it's 28 days now when this one posts, 28 days. It's getting a little bit more and more real. Are your expectations? I'm just curious. Are they going to shift at all if the Rockies, kind of continue a strong spring with the all the press conferences and things about the changes and kind of the buzz? Do you think that buzz is going to carry over into the beginning of the regular season? I think it would be a pretty shocking tone setter for the Rockies here to open up the season with that road victory over the Marlins. Because then it's the first week. It's the first weekend of the season. It just sets the tone. It sets the stage. Because man, it's just going to be fascinating to see how this carries over into the beginning. I mean, because this start of the season, this team is just. If you guys want to compete, if you want to be looked at as competitors, as equals on the major league level, the challenge starts on the first game of the season. Adam Sandoval says, Jake McCarthy, no, the Rockies can afford to come up with a nice free agent in the free market. I have to tell you, Adam, you list Cody Bellinger, Kyle Tucker, Trent Grisham, Harrison Bader. None of them are free agents, and none of them were going to sign with the Rockies in this free agency period. I don't know if you missed it, but yeah, all of those players have found a home for the next season, and as much as it would be great to see, all of those players will not be playing for the Colorado Rockies in 2026. And then Jim says, exciting that there are a number of players that you can talk about and feel intrigued for this team. I feel hopeful about the season, even knowing that they won't be in the playoffs, but they might be spoilers this year. Go Rockies. Yeah, being spoilers is one of the norms or the usual rallying cries for the Rockies here. We'll see if they're able to do so here, but I mean, it's just going to be I think there are so many intriguing guys on this roster of okay, here's your moment, here's your chance to be the starter. Whether we got you in a trade, whether you're a young guy, that had a great camp, a call up, whatever. The Rockies will make some noise if these guys perform against the good clubs that they're going to. I know I was just talking about the start of the season. That's what I mean. If they come out of the gate and somehow tread water, that's going to be very, very impressive. And I think it will be a little bit of an eye-opening moment and a big confidence booster for some of these guys who are really looking to not only establish themselves as ball players, but for some of these guys, I think they want to reestablish what it means to be what it means to be a Colorado Rocky. I got a lot of work to do and a lot of doubt to overturn, but they want it. They're up for the challenge, right? Or at least they tell us they are. All right, folks, that is going to do it for today's episode of Locked On Rockies. Thank you so much for making us your first listen of the day. For your second listen of the day, go check out Locked On MLB and the Back to the Bullpen podcast, also available on the MLB channels there. Plus, we got you covered with Colorado sports, Locked On Broncos, Avalanche, Nuggets, and Buffs, all free and streaming on your favorite streaming services and on YouTube. Folks, until next time, this is Paul Holden saying so long from the Locked On Rockies podcast.